Okay, real quick, I think this is my last video for tonight. It's not too late. It's only 6:30 on a Friday, y'all, and I'm almost done. One of the things that I've talked about a bunch this week that has been so frustrating to me, and I really shouldn't be surprised by the cruelty of the Republicans, the craven kind of manipulations that they are trying to engage in. But it does surprise me. My Congresswoman Maxine Dexter is always talking about how she thinks that her Republican colleagues in Congress are good people. They're just misguided and they live in a different reality. And I kind of feel that way about most regular MAGA. I struggle to feel that way about Republican members of Congress. They know what's going on. They know what kind of choices they're making, but she still has this belief of like, I need to continue to reach out to them and have conversations with them and help understand that the Fox News worldview, the evangelical MAGA Christian worldview, is a skewed worldview. And she keeps trying to speak truth to them. And she keeps trying. God bless her. Like, Maxine, I'm sorry, there is no way you're going to convince me that Mike Johnson is not a tremendously evil person. And I rarely use that word. I think I reserve it for Mike Johnson, Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, and Russell Vought. Mike Johnson knows what he's doing. They've tried to present what's happening with the government shutdown as the Democrats' fault, but we know that it's not. Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. They control everything in government. If they fail to fund the government and keep it open, that is their responsibility. I'll keep saying it because I don't think enough Americans knew before the big bloated budget bill got passed that there was a Senate report that came out that said if the ACA cuts and the Medicaid cuts go through, that the Republicans want, 51,000 Americans will die every year because Republicans will have taken away their health care. 51,000 Americans every year. Think about how much Republicans are still fucking freaking out over 9/11. That was about 3,000 people. None of them are freaking out about Republicans killing 51,000 Americans every single year. And Democrats are standing in front of that and saying, no, we will not let you do that. It is not something that our conscience will permit us to do. It is something that would be a violation of the oath we have taken to our constituents and to the Constitution to allow funding a government that will kill 51,000 Americans a year so that ICE can get tens of billions of our taxpayer dollars, so that billionaires can get massive tax credits, so that the debt can be ballooned trillions of dollars. That's what Democrats are doing. I have no love for Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. Y'all know I have no love for them. They fucked up the first time around with the government shutdown and let all kinds of terrible things get pushed through. But they found their spine and they understand the severity of this moment. My senators, Ron Wyden and especially Jeff Merkley, y'all, they have been everywhere, holding the line, communicating what is happening, standing strong for us. And Elizabeth Warren is the one who really spearheaded this. Like, we can't let Republicans do this. We cannot go along with their plan to take away healthcare from tens of millions of Americans and kill 51,000 of them every year. So mad props to Elizabeth Warren. That's the reality of what's happening. And then we've now seen since early October that the Republicans are like, oh, we're just going to shut down SNAP. We're going to take away food aid from 42 million Americans. That's 12% of the American populace. 12% of Americans needing food assistance already is a condemnation of the wealthiest nation on earth. Nobody in America should be food insecure. Nobody should be struggling. We could get into a long conversation about how programs like SNAP and WIC, those really are corporate welfare. They are programs that enable employers like Walmart and others to not pay their employees a living wage, but they're also our elderly Americans. More than 20% of folks on SNAP are elderly that we don't care for either, right? And it's just such a condemnation of this entire American experiment that millions of elderly are food insecure, that tens of millions of children are food insecure in this country. And so we've seen Republicans being like, we're going to shut off the SNAP benefits. Oh, we can't fund the government, so SNAP is going to go away. They're using that to manipulate Democrats to say you have to choose between your constituents dying because we take away their health care or dying because we take away their food. That is the reality of what Republicans are doing. They're making Democrats have to play Sophie's choice. Thank God that Democrats are not taking the bait. But we heard just a couple of days ago, Senator Warnock, which all due respect to him, he said something like, well, it's really difficult to be in this position right now because my constituents are being hurt. Either way, I'm having constituents that are being hurt, no matter whether I buckle, I fold and give in to the Republican demands, or whether I hold strong with the rest of the Democrats. I'm telling you, Senator Warnock, hold strong. All of y'all hold strong. And please stop using this passive language of like, our constituents are being harmed. No, Republicans are harming your constituents. Republicans are making a conscious choice to hurt Americans for their political gain so that they could advance their authoritarian agenda and dismantle democracy. This is Republicans intentionally hurting and killing Americans. Like we don't need to mince words. I'm not a reporter, I'm not a politician. I can say it like it is. I can be honest about what's happening, and we all should be as well. And interestingly enough, Mike Johnson kind of slipped up himself earlier in an interview with Dana Bash from CNN. It's rare that Republicans say the quiet part out loud. They love to gaslight. They love to just straight up lie. But strangely enough, we heard this from Mike Johnson.
The reality is that this has been a stalemate for 30 days. And it's not just Democrats. You also have one of the most conservative Republican senators, Josh Hawley, who says, at least please move money around to feed people. Why not consider that?
Because if you deviate from the goal of reopening the entire government, Chuck Schumer and the radicals over there will continue to play games with people's paychecks, their livelihoods. And if you do just part of this, it will reduce the pressure for them to do all of it, to do their basic job, and that is reopen the government. This is very real and very serious, and they can end it today. They can do it right now. All they have to do is, we just need 5 more Democrats in the Senate to help us reach the 60-vote threshold. We don't have enough Republicans to do the right thing on our own.
He literally owned it on national TV that this is a manipulation. They are starving people on purpose to try and get Democrats to come to heel. This is unconscionable. This is not politics. This is outright cruelty. This is depraved. They are perfectly willing to make Americans go hungry in the tens of millions. The same month as Thanksgiving, they are taking away SNAP benefits. And it's not just Americans on SNAP who will suffer. You understand that grocery stores across the country rely on SNAP to stay open. Mike Johnson is also talking about his own constituents. It's Republicans who are the most impacted by what Republicans in Congress are doing. Republicans in Congress have abandoned their own constituents. They're hurting their own constituents. Mike Johnson is perfectly happy to starve his own constituents in order to appease Donald Trump, in order to advance the Christo-fascist 2025, Project 2025 agenda. That is the reality of what is happening. Mike Johnson does not care about you. I'm sorry, Maxine Dexter. He is not a good person. He's not just misguided. This is unbelievably cruel. It is intentionally done. They are trying to inflict maximum pain, maximum suffering. Americans will die. If these SNAP funds are not released, Americans will die if Democrats back down on the Medicaid and ADA cuts. This is what the Republican Party is. They are a punitive party. They are a party that has no problem inflicting suffering, inflicting death in order to get what they want politically. Your children's bellies, your children's lives are just, pieces in their political game that they can manipulate. This is inhuman. I'm sorry, it's inhuman. There's no other way to describe what Republicans are doing. They have lost their connection to their humanity. Something is unbelievably shriveled inside of them. And it's not just Mike Johnson. Earlier today, J.D. Vance, Sans Couch, had this to say.
Suffering is going to get a lot worse, not because the President of the United States has failed to make the shutdown painless. He's tried to do everything that he can to make it as unpainless as possible. He's tried to do everything that he can. To make it as unpainless as possible.
I'm sorry, unpainless as possible? So you mean painful? Donald Trump is trying to make it as painful as possible. I mean, he said at the beginning, the suffering is only going to get worse. The pain is going to get worse. This is their goal. They want you to suffer. They want to deprive you. They want that to be the new normal. If you don't do what they want, they can inflict maximum suffering. They can make you hurt. They can make your children go hungry. They can starve you. They can cause your demise. This is what J.D. Vance and Donald Trump and Mike Johnson want for the future of this country. Inhumanity we are seeing from Republicans right now with this government shutdown. This is what they want to be the new normal. Do not mistake them. This is what they want for the future of America.